I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your master.
The empire that once defined the streets is shaking again. The name BMF, once whispered with fear and respect, is back in headlines, but this time for all the wrong reasons. A storm erupted online when a video surfaced of Big Meech, the legendary figure behind the Black Mafia family, breaking down in tears. For a man once known for his iron composure, seeing him this vulnerable was something no one expected. In the viral clip, Meech looks tired, drained, and betrayed. His voice cracks as he confesses that Rick Ross, a man he once called a brother, had allegedly scammed him out of over $120 million. The same Rick Ross who once rapped about loyalty and boss life, now accused of manipulating contracts and draining the very empire that Meech built from the ground up. "I built this from nothing," Meech said. It wasn't just the money, it was the years of trust, the late night calls about rebuilding, the talk of legacy, and the promises of partnership that now felt like a cruel joke. Meech described how what was supposed to be a collaboration turned into a slow, devastating betrayal. Ross had apparently redirected profits, twisted deals in his favor, and left Meech standing in the ruins of what was meant to be his comeback. But if anyone thought Meech was going to walk away quietly, they were wrong. The clip spread like wildfire. Fans couldn't believe their eyes. The same man who once ruled the streets with power and pride was now publicly calling out one of hip-hop's biggest names. Comment sections filled with disbelief, memes, and speculation. Some stood by Meech, demanding accountability from Rick Ross. Others questioned how a man as sharp as Meech could fall into such a trap. But one thing became clear. This wasn't just a feud. It was the start of something bigger. An all-out war that could change the hip-hop landscape. Rick Ross, known for bold business moves, had just played one of the most dangerous hands of his career, and it came at Big Meech's expense. Word spread fast that Meech had finally confronted Ross face-to-face. At the same time, 50 Cent, never one to stay silent, jumped into the chaos with his signature trolling. He began firing shots online, clowning both Meech and Ross with posts that spread like wildfire. The entire situation exploded across social media, turning into a live spectacle. People treated it like the finale of a high-stakes reality show, with every new comment adding fuel to the fire. But the question that echoed through every comment thread was simple.
Career that you have any respect for? Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with.
What did Big Meech expect? This was Rick Ross, a man who once worked closely with law enforcement and built his image around control, influence, and manipulation. He knew how to play the system, and this time, it looked like he had outplayed everyone. Ever since Ross threw Meech under the bus publicly, 50 Cent had been relentless, dropping subliminal shots aimed at both Big Meech and his son, Lil Meech, across every platform. But what really shocked people was the timeline of events. Just a few months after walking out of prison, Big Meech was spotted living it up in Miami with none other than Rick Ross, smiling for photos, clinking glasses, acting like nothing had ever gone wrong. Fans were stunned. This was the same man Ross had feuded with for years, the same feud that had drawn 50 Cent into endless online beef. Many believe Meech would have kept his distance, maybe even sided with 50 out of respect, but instead, he embraced Ross like an old friend. Insiders described it as a knife in the 50's back. The irony only grew when Meech started appearing in photos alongside Floyd Mayweather, another figure tied closely to Ross. Meanwhile, Lil Meech kept taunting 50 online, posting cryptic captions about real power. Every move deepened the divide. Sure, the Meech name still carried power, generating millions in buzz and cultural influence, but it was 50 Cent who had turned that name into something tangible. He was the one who built the BMF TV empire, the one who gave the story a second life. Rick Ross, on the other hand, had been playing a different game all along, a game of clout, headlines, and control. He didn't care about rebuilding an empire, he cared about being seen next to one. He manipulated Meech's image like a chess piece, creating chaos that would make him trend while slipping out of sight when the smoke got thick, and that's exactly what happened. The moment the backlash began, Ross vanished. Fans noticed how he started skipping appearances, citing a shoulder injury that conveniently kept him out of the spotlight, but the internet wasn't buying it. Many called it a calculated excuse to dodge accountability. Behind the scenes, Ross was busy running another play, his controversial boss token cryptocurrency. What started as a flashy new business venture turned into a rug pull scandal that left countless investors burned. Online, they started calling him Rug Ross. Coincidentally, that shoulder injury appeared just days after he was accused of lying to Big Meech. People connected the dots quickly. Insiders revealed that Ross had quietly dumped most of his crypto tokens before the collapse, flipping those profits into real estate investments while the public was still recovering their losses.
Who's the bad guy? I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is.
that, Vlad. Let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No.
No? You think 50?
No.
Lil Meech.
No.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would.
It became obvious that Ross wasn't just avoiding conflict, he was escaping it, using every distraction possible to keep his image clean while everyone else took the fall. Critics started to question what could have been if Ross hadn't blocked Meech's path with his self-serving schemes. If Meech had surrounded himself with real allies instead of opportunists, maybe his comeback would have looked different. Instead, every decision seemed to benefit Ross more than it ever helped Meech. Now the backlash has reached a boiling point. Lil Meech is getting roasted online, fans clowning the family name and calling out their alliance with Ross as the worst business move of the year. Even actors and hip-hop commentators have weighed in. Power star Michael Rainey Jr. went viral after saying he had zero sympathy for either Meech or his son. In his words, "They grown men, they saw it coming." 50 Cent, never one to stay quiet, backed the sentiment, using it as another opportunity to remind everyone that loyalty still matters. Everyone in the industry knows one rule: don't cross 50. DJ Vlad even commented that going toe-to-toe with 50 Cent is like starting a war you can't win because he'll burn the entire situation down just to make a point. And Meech isn't the first person Ross has left hanging. His pattern goes way back. One infamous story from Canada still gets mentioned. Members of Ross's own crew were jumped, and instead of stepping in, Ross reportedly slipped away, only to reappear later saying he was testing their loyalty. That same cold calculation has followed him his entire career, always having an escape plan when things turn ugly. Industry insiders say Ross saw this fallout with Meech coming from miles away. Whack 100 even claimed that Ross was the puppet master behind the growing rift between 50 Cent and the Flannery family. If that's true, then Ross didn't just let the collapse happen, he engineered it. When you step back and see the full picture, it becomes clear that Big Meech never had a true ally in Rick Ross. From day one, Ross knew exactly what he was doing. He hyped Meech up with big dreams of rebuilding BMF, of making millions, of reclaiming the throne. He made it look like brotherhood, like legacy, but behind the smiles and expensive cigars, he was quietly pulling strings, turning Meech against his old friends and ensuring that when everything fell apart,
Bad guy out of all of this.
Who's the bad guy? I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is.
Ross would be the only one standing tall. And now, as the dust settles, Ross's silence says everything. The man who once couldn't stop talking about loyalty and family has completely distanced himself. The grand talk about helping Meech has vanished. Because the truth is, Ross never cared about rebuilding BMF. He cared about controlling it. Word on the street says Ross was even behind the cancellation of Meech's Welcome Home benefit event, the one fans thought 50 had ruined. Insiders claim Ross didn't want Meech gaining too much attention. He preferred Meech quiet, obedient, and out of the spotlight while he played the good guy in public. When 50 later posted a cryptic message saying he had nothing to do with the cancellation, the puzzle pieces finally fit. Ross had been moving the chessboard the whole time. Even that BMF tribute track Ross dropped, supposedly to honor Meech, now looks different in hindsight.
I wasn't gonna address this, because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me. So I'm doing this for my loved ones and the support of my friends.
It wasn't loyalty, it was manipulation. A strategic distraction to keep Meech loyal and confused, while Ross built his own brand off the legend's name. Because maybe the truth is this: Rick Ross never wanted to help Big Meech. He wanted to be Big Meech. It wouldn't be the first time. His entire career started the same way. Back in the early 2000s, when the real freeway Rick Ross was serving time, the rapper adopted his name and image, building a persona around a life he never lived. When the real Rick got out, he was furious. He sued, calling it identity theft. The case dragged for years, but eventually, the court ruled in the rapper's favor. He kept the name, and by then, the empire was already built, off someone else's legacy. And that's been the Ross playbook ever since. Every time a real figure steps out of prison, Ross is right there, ready to attach himself to their story, ready to soak up the headlines. He did it with Larry Hoover, dropping references and verses that made it seem like solidarity, but were really just marketing. He he's done it again with Big Meech using the BMF name to revive his own relevance. 50 Cent saw through it early. He said it publicly more than once. He never respected Ross, not as a man, not as someone who understood loyalty. And now, everything 50 warned about is unfolding in real time. The betrayal, the chaos, the downfall, it's all there. Meanwhile, 50 has been sitting back, watching it all crumble, while quietly stacking his own wins. He's been signing new business deals, launching new projects, expanding his entertainment empire.
All down. If you piss him off, his own sometimes too. You know, he'll cancel BMF to prove a point.
All while his rivals spiral in drama. Ross tried to clown 50 recently, calling him broke and mocking him for failing to secure funding for his film studio. But the joke backfired hard. Within days, that loan was approved. 50's studio is now official, and the same people laughing at him are watching him rise higher than ever. Ross even bragged about buying 50's masters, a move that now looks like pure fantasy. Fans have been roasting him online, calling him desperate and delusional. 50 didn't even have to respond, the facts spoke for themselves. In the end, it's not just a story of betrayal, it's a story of patterns, of how one man keeps playing the same game, using others' names to climb higher, and how another keeps winning by staying focused, silent, and strategic. Big Meech wanted redemption, Ross wanted control, and 50, he wanted legacy. Now, as the dust settles, one truth echoes across the industry. Loyalty has a price, and in this war of egos, only one man knew how to turn betrayal into power. From the moment Big Meech appeared on camera, his voice trembling with betrayal, commentators across the culture began connecting the dots that had been there all along. Zip with the Drip, one of the earliest voices to question Rick Ross's motives, was among the first to say it out loud. This was bound to happen. He had warned everyone from the start that Ross's loyalty came with an expiration date. When the benefits dried up, so would the friendship. And now, looking at how everything unfolded, it's hard to say he was wrong. The fall of Big Meech's comeback isn't just another celebrity feud. It's a lesson written in real time, a painful reminder of how loyalty and fame rarely mix in an industry built on self-interest. What could have been a legendary return to the spotlight has turned into a cautionary tale about misplaced trust and the cost of believing in the wrong people. For Meech, the dream was simple: to rebuild his legacy, reclaim his story, and prove that his name still carried power beyond the streets. But somewhere along the way, that dream got hijacked. The partnership that was supposed to elevate him ended up erasing the progress he'd fought for. The man who once stood at the center of one of America's most infamous empires now finds himself on the edge of cultural irrelevance. Fans are heartbroken, but even more so, they're conflicted. Some believe Meech deserved better, that he was taken advantage of by people who saw his name as a marketing opportunity. Others argue that he should have known better. After all, this was Rick Ross, a man whose playbook has always revolved around clout, perception, and control. Either way, the outcome is the same. Meech's golden window has slammed shut, and reopening it may not be possible. Industry insiders are calling this the BMF collapse, and not just because of Meech's downfall. The ripple effects have spread far beyond his circle, shaking the way people view loyalty and alliances in hip-hop. Conversations once held behind closed doors are now happening out in the open. Artists are becoming more cautious about who they partner with, who they trust, and how far they're willing to go for a public cosign. For years, the hip-hop community celebrated loyalty as one of its most sacred values, but this situation has revealed the darker truth, that loyalty in this business is often just a transaction. One day you're a brother, the next you're a business decision. The smiles, the toasts, the promises of "we're in this together," they all mean nothing when power is on the line.
For no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the fuck I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too, nigga. You asking for my sympathy for it, nigga. You be alright.
And now Big Meech is learning that lesson the hard way. The man who once commanded respect from coast to coast, whose name alone carried weight in music and the streets alike, is watching that power slip away. His reputation, once untouchable, now feels fragile. Not because of court cases or police files, but because of betrayal, the one thing he thought he'd already survived. Analysts say it'll take a miracle for Meech to regain what he's lost. Every headline, every leaked clip, every online debate chips away at the image he worked so hard to rebuild. field. Without loyal allies and with his trust in question, the path forward looks uncertain. Meanwhile, Rick Ross has managed to walk away from the chaos looking almost untouched, at least for now. On the surface, he's still the confident mogul flashing success and luxury, but beneath that, cracks are starting to show. Even some of his supporters are beginning to question his track record. How many times can you burn bridges before people stop walking across them? How long before the charm and confidence that made Ross a superstar turn into the arrogance that undoes him? Because if there's one thing this entire saga has proven, it's that Ross's loyalty only stretches as far as his reflection. The moment he's no longer gaining from a connection, it becomes disposable. And that kind of reputation is poison in an industry that runs on relationships. The whispers are already circulating, artists asking each other in private, if he did that to Meech, what would he do to me? Then there's 50 Cent, the one man who seems to always come out on top when chaos erupts. While Meech and Ross wrestle with betrayal and backlash, 50 has quietly turned the situation into another strategic win. His social media jabs aren't just jokes, they're psychological warfare, perfectly timed reminders of who really holds control of the narrative. As the dust settles, 50 is positioned higher than ever. His film studio is greenlit, his production empire is expanding, and every move he makes carries a message. Real power doesn't come from noise, it comes from execution. While others talk, 50 builds. While others fight for clout, he builds generational wealth. This whole situation has done more than just expose Ross and Meech. It has reinforced 50's image as one of the sharpest minds in entertainment, someone who plays the long game and always sees 10 moves ahead. To many fans, it's poetic justice, because at the end of the day, this isn't just a story about a feud, it's about power, how it's gained, how it's lost, and how one bad choice can turn a comeback into a collapse.
I'm doing right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money, we still count paper. This ain't a puppet.
It's about loyalty that costs more than it's worth, and trust that fades faster than fame. As the industry watches this fallout, one truth is echoing louder than the music itself. Hip-hop is evolving, and so are its lessons. Loyalty without leverage is a gamble that almost never pays off. The new generation of artists is taking notes, learning from Meech's downfall that image alone isn't enough to survive. You need strategy, you need control, and you need to know who's really sitting next to you when the cameras turn off. Online, fans are calling it karma, and maybe they're right. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. A former corrections officer flip-flopping on a man who spent decades behind bars. A hustler betrayed by another hustler. That's not a feud, that's karma. It's poetic in the cruelest way. Rick Ross built his career on borrowing the names and legacies of men who lived real lives in real danger. And now, one of those men has fallen because of him. The hunter has become the hunted. The teacher just got schooled by his own lessons. Big Meech's entire comeback plan, built on loyalty and brotherhood, has turned into an example of how quickly trust can destroy everything. Ross, meanwhile, is learning that the same tactics that built his image might be the ones that tear it down. The public is no longer buying the illusion. Behind every flashy photo, every motivational caption, and every boss mantra lies a trail of broken alliances and unfinished promises. The story has taken on a life of its own. Bloggers, commentators, and fans are dissecting every move, every tweet, every silence, every sudden unfollow. It's no longer just gossip. It's a reflection of a much bigger truth. In this culture, everyone wants to be a boss, but no one wants to pay the price that real leadership demands. So, what comes next? That's the question hanging in the air. Will Big Meech Stage 1, last comeback, flip the script and reclaim the power that was taken from him, or has this betrayal sealed his fate for good? Will Rick Ross face consequences for his alleged manipulation, or will he once again walk away untouched, ready to reinvent himself in another form? And where does 50 Cent go from here? Does he step in to finish what karma started, or does he simply watch as the pieces fall exactly where he knew they would? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Every move that follows will determine who truly walks away with the upper hand. Meech may be wounded, but he's not powerless. Ross may be smiling, but the walls are closing in. And 50, he's sitting comfortably in the middle of it all, watching, waiting, and winning, just as he always does. This entire saga has become a mirror for the culture. It's forcing everyone, artists, executives, and fans alike, to rethink what power really means.
About the rapper Rick Ross having the same name.
Well, the fact that he stole my name, not that we had the same name, he actually stole my whole story, my identity. the whole thing. You know, he built his career off of my legacy.
Maybe it's not about who shines the brightest for the moment, but about who can survive the fallout when the lights go out. Because in hip-hop, nothing stays hidden forever. The truth always finds its way back. And in this case, it came crashing through the door, wearing the name everyone's afraid to say out loud, Karma. So now, all eyes are on Big Meech. Will he rebuild or retreat? Will he turn the pain into purpose or let it define the end of his legacy? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain, the next chapter, whatever it is, will decide whether this was just another headline or the final act of a legend story. And as the world watches, one can't help but feel that maybe, just maybe, the real empire left standing isn't BMF or MMG. It's the one quietly built by 50 Cent, brick by brick, on loyalty, patience, and a lesson everyone else forgot. Real power doesn't need to shout, it simply laughs.